Forget everything you think you know about the Tower of London. This is not just a tourist attraction. It is the oldest, most chilling structure in Britain, a fortress built not only to protect the crown, but to execute its enemies. For over 9 centuries, these thick, cold walls have been soaked in the blood of queens, traitors, and political rivals. But one secret, more profound and more tragic than any other, still cries out for justice. The mystery of the princes in the tower. In 1483, 2 young boys, 12-year-old King Edward V and his 9-year-old brother Richard, were locked within these stone chambers, never to be seen again. Their disappearance is arguably the greatest unsolved royal mystery in history, a vanishing act that changed the course of the English monarchy forever. Was their uncle, the infamous Richard III, the sole murderer? Or was this a deeper plot involving the very foundations of the crown? The tower holds the answer, alongside its other great secret, the crown jewels, guarded by the legendary Beefeaters, but shadowed by a persistent, dark curse that whispers of the tower's victims. Tonight, we unseal the files on the 2 missing princes, examine the evidence, and step into the most haunted, most heavily guarded fortress on earth. The Tower of London was never intended as a prison. It was a royal fortress and residence. But that is exactly where the young King Edward V and his brother were taken after the death of their father, Edward IV. It began as a sanctuary, but quickly turned into a cage. The descent into darkness. In the summer of 1483, Parliament declared the boys illegitimate, clearing the way for their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, to seize the throne as Richard III. Once the coronation was complete, the boys, the rightful heirs, became the single greatest threat to the new king. The witnesses vanish. The boys were last seen playing in the gardens of the inner tower. Then, the guards tightened, visitors were barred, and silence fell. Soon, they simply ceased to exist. The prime suspect, Richard III, remains the most compelling suspect. He had the motive, the opportunity, and the cold political calculus. Yet, no body was found during his reign, and the evidence against him is heavily sourced from his later enemies, the victorious Tudors. The bones of contention. The true turning point came in 1674, nearly 200 years later. During renovations beneath the staircase in the White Tower, workers discovered a wooden box containing the skeletal remains of 2 children, roughly the right age. King Charles II, believing them to be the princes, ordered them entombed in Westminster Abbey, but forensic science at the time was rudimentary. Were those really the princes, or a brilliant piece of Tudor propaganda? The unsolved murder. The identity of the remains remains the deepest mystery. Modern science has never been allowed to perform definitive DNA testing. Until that day, the tower remains silent, and Richard III remains perhaps the most wrongly accused man in history, or the most successful villain. A Tower of London is a fortress of stark contradictions. Above the dungeons, in a vault secured by the yeoman warders, the famous Beefeaters, shines the most potent symbol of British power, the crown jewels. The Jewel House. The jewels are housed in the Waterloo Barracks and are protected by one of the most advanced security systems in the world. They are priceless, not just monetarily, but historically, symbolizing the continuity and majesty of the monarchy. They include the imperial state crown and the sovereign scepter with cross, which holds the enormous Cullinan eye diamond, the largest cut diamond in the world. The curse of the crown. The jewels, however, carry their own dark history. For centuries, they were seen as carrying the curse of their tormented past, confiscated from the deposed, stolen and often broken. The jewels are a magnet for bad luck, symbolizing the violence and ambition that has defined British royalty. The most famous curse, of course, belongs to the ravens, the guardians of the tower. Legend states that if the 6 resident ravens ever leave the tower, the kingdom will fall. This chilling superstition ensures that the ravens, all 6, plus 2 spares, are kept clipped and confined. These dark birds are the living embodiment of the tower's ancient, grim fate. They are the constant, black-feathered reminder of the executions and tragedies witnessed by these walls. The ghosts of the green. The tower is widely considered the most haunted site in Britain. A most famous spectral resident is Anne Boleyn, the Queen executed on Tower Green by Henry VIII, whose ghostly figure is often seen walking headless near the Chapel Royal. Other spirits include Guy Fawkes and, of course, the shadowy, sad figures of the two young princes, often seen holding hands near the bloody tower. If Richard III didn't do it, then who did? The mystery deepens when we consider the Tudor victory. The Tudor theory. Many historians now suggest the possibility that the boys survived Richard's reign only to be executed later by Henry VII, the first Tudor king, to eliminate any remaining threats to his newly established dynasty. The boys were, after all, the true Plantagenet heirs. For the Tudors, eliminating them was a necessary consolidation of power. This theory casts the entire story as a brilliant, 2-century-long piece of Tudor propaganda designed to demonize Richard III. The discovery of the children's bones under the staircase, 200 years later, might have been the final, definitive piece of this manufactured history. The enduring power. The Tower of London endures because it embodies the ruthlessness required to hold power. It's a place where royal blood was spilled by royal hands. The sheer volume of history, from William the Conqueror's original White Tower to the modern, razor-sharp security guarding the jewels, makes it a unique time capsule of control. The truth about history is always buried under layers of myth, politics, and centuries of dust. If you crave the stories that powerful institutions try to keep hidden, and if you want to be the first to unseal the files on the world's most enduring mysteries, make sure you subscribe right now and hit the notification bell. It's the only way to ensure you join us on our next journey. Because next time, we're swapping the grim history of the tower for a legend of much lighter but equally powerful magic. We are traveling to Blarney Castle, Ireland, to explore the gift of eloquence and the mystical origins of the Blarney Stone. Is the legendary gift of the Gab real? Or is there a deeper, secret history behind this famous stone? Join us next time to find out.